afternoon, and welcome to another episode of the Career Readiness webinars and workshop. Today, we're going to be looking at something very exciting. We have a professional in our midst who would be taking us on today's topic. So if let's do something real quick. If you have been enjoying the previous editions of our webinars, feel free to leave a comment in the chat section. Feel free to tell us what you enjoy, what you're looking forward to in today's session, because today's session promises to be really, really exciting and enlightening as well. We're going to be looking at interview skills and presentation techniques, right? This is something that is very key as people, in the early stage of our careers. We're looking for how to land a job. You really cannot escape going through an interview. You really cannot escape selling yourself. And that is what we're going to be looking at today. And that's why we have brought a top professional who would be working us through this topic. And I have here with me Imelda Udenze. Imelda is a talent acquisition specialist with over 5 years of experience in HR consulting, driving recruitment excellence, and strategic hiring solutions for diverse clients. She's currently the talent acquisition lead at Work Nigeria, a renowned HR consulting company that aims to put 1 million Nigerians back to work. Imelda's expertise covers talent acquisition strategy, recruitment marketing, employer branding, talent pipeline, full circle recruitment, HR technology, including ATS, CRM, and of course, client relationship management. So you can see that she is fully packed. Her portfolio is a robust one. So I urge you all to sit tight and do well to stay glued to your screen as Imelda would walk us through the various tips we can take with interview and how to present ourselves clearly. So welcome once again, Imelda, and over to you.
Thank you very much for that introduction, Joy. I'm honored. I'm kind of delighted for this opportunity to speak to young minds, to speak to my fellow Nigerians regarding what every one of us have to go through, irrespective of their career level. Thank you also for this opportunity, 3MTT, and that's my organization that brought me on board for this. It's quite enlightening, and I believe that all of us on this call will, at the end of this workshop, beat our shares that for the next interview we're going to be able to ace that. Okay, having said that, I want us to just dive into it. So I'll be sharing my screen now. Joya, is that okay with you? So I don't know if everyone can see my screen from here.
Yes, we can.
Okay, and we all can hear me, right, please? I just want to be sure that I'm audible enough.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you very much once again. As we all know, as Joy have stated, our topic for today, the main cause that we all here today is to discuss about job interviews, skills and techniques, and how to prepare ourselves once we hear anything interview. Okay, that being said, my profile has been read. I don't have any much thing to say. So our learning objective today will be interview preparation techniques, number 1. Then from there, we'll move down to positive body language, techniques for answering interview questions, and post-interview follow-ups. So during this section, if you have any question, please feel free to drop it on the comment section. At the end of this section, we'll be able to answer all your questions. So let's talk about interview. What is an interview? Most of us, once we hear interview, the first thing that comes to our mind is that I'm just going to face panel, a lot of questions. They're going to judge me. How am I going to perform? Am I even suitable for this role? So here, we want to remove that mind or that kind of understanding or mindset towards interview. So from our definition, we're going to be talking about interview using these 4 points. interview, number one, is a conversation between two or more people. So the outline thing I want us to highlight here is that interview is a conversation. It is not a lecture. It's a conversation between two or more people. Then the next point is questions are asked to find out if the applicant is suitable for the job. So apart from the fact that you're going for an interview to convert between you and someone, or between you and one or two people or more, is also questions are going to be asked to ascertain if you're suitable for this job. And the third point is that the interview centers around one main question. So you dressing up from your house or you joining any interview, the main goal is for the company for you to answer one question. For the company to answer one question, why should we hire you? Then final is a two-way communication. So if I put these 4 points together, we can say that interview is a conversation between two people, which goes two-way, and also to ascertain if you are suitable for this role, and also to answer question, why should we hire you? So looking at it, why, if you look at the number 2 and number 3, it states whether applicant is suitable for this job, because there are several other people who are suitable just as you. So apart from the fact you being suitable, we're going to be looking at the question of why should we hire you? So we know that you are suitable for this role at the end of it, but why should we hire you? So these are the things that the key things we're going to use to answer what is interview. So interview is a conversation between two people, which is a two-way thing for the company to ascertain why, if you're suitable for this role, and also to answer the questions of why we should hire you. So moving on, when we talk about interview, the next thing I want us to have in mind is about preparation. Preparation is the key for any successful interview, being in an entry-level role, or senior, middle level role, or a senior level position. Preparation is the key. When we talk about preparation, we are not talking about you going online, maybe to read a few questions, as we all do. That maybe you will likely be asked during the interview. The preparation comes in different levels, starting from you doing your research about that company that sent you an interview invite. Then secondly, from there, you move on to prepare yourself emotionally, spiritually, not just in the sense of we praying, whether a Christian or a Muslim, but preparing yourself spiritually. I mean, in this sense, is being in the right frame of mind, knowing that, okay, I have interview on this date, or I have interview during this period. So I need to prepare myself. I need to be sure that I'm emotionally sound in order to answer questions and ace the interview. And also we have to prepare yourself physically in terms of what you wear, thinking about the environment where you're coming from and all that. So what I'm talking about in this point is that preparation is very key. You have to prepare yourself once you receive that interview invite. Then moving on to arriving. So when we're talking about preparation, we are moving from it now to you arriving. Arriving is one of the key things you have to consider when you're going for an interview. Because once you step into the organization premises, your interview has started. It is not when you sit down one-on-one, or when you're being you've been called to the conference that, once you step in the company premises, your interview has started. You are being interviewed from the security post to the receptionist to whoever you meet before you meet the panel, or before you meet whoever is the hiring manager that you are being assigned to. So here we're talking about you arriving at least 10 to 15 minutes early to be able to pack. Maybe you need to adjust yourself. Maybe you're sweating, you need to clean up yourself, or you want to use the restroom because nature can call. Maybe along the line when you're coming from your house to the interview venue, you start feeling pressed, or you're dehydrated, you need to drink water, or you thought maybe you need to clean up your shoes or something. So you being able to arrive on time will help you to prepare and adjust yourself. And the final point on this is greeting and introduction. Oftentimes I've seen candidates coming for an interview because they're coming in late, they're rushing to the receptionist, please direct me to the hiring manager, or direct me to so person. You forgot that there's other people that you are meeting there. The person you're talking to is also part of the organization. You don't know whether maybe that person will be a key decision making, or whatever the person will say will affect you being hired, will affect your probability of being hired to the company. So we're looking at Smile. So as you walk into the gate, maybe walking into the premises, maybe asking the security post, I want to meet a store person. You need to smile. You need to have that attitude of, okay, I'm actually here to work. I'm open to working in this company, that I want to be hired here. So then you maintain eye contact, remain poised and confident. You know, by the time the receptionist or admin will be walking you into the to the conference room or to the interview room, they're looking at you. You have to maintain this attitude that I'm a professional. You're not like you'll be grumbling or feeling tired or dizzy, because you have actually prepared before this interview. So preparation will help you to be able to pass through your arriving and greeting and introduction stage in a good and positive way, without feeling, oh, I'm in a haste, or am I sure maybe I'm feeling down or I'm sick, and all those kind of stuff that we might be going through naturally. But because we prepare, would have set ourselves in the right frame of mind, would have, prepared our mind that, okay, I'm here for an interview. I need to be here. Sometimes things might happen along the line, maybe during the week that you're preparing for the interview, a tragic incident happen. That preparation will help you to re-engineer your mind, that will have it in right frame of mind that I'm going for an interview. I do not need any other distraction at this point, because you might not have the opportunity to tell the interviewer that, oh, something happened, but they would have seen that, oh, this person, are you sure this candidate actually, or this applicant actually prepared for this interview? So moving on, we're going to talk about types of interview. There's several types of interview now, but we're starting with phone interview. Phone interview is the first phase you're going to likely receive. Once you apply for a role, the recruiter or the hiring manager will reach out to you for initial screening. This screening can be maybe just to get some skills that is not in your CV, or just to get to know you. Maybe you didn't put your location, and also to narrow down applicants, because as you feel you are suitable for this role, thousands of applicants are also applying for that role. So from this telephone conversation, the recruiter or the hiring manager can narrow down who they want to meet. That is why your CV has to always be on point, because for you to get to this point, there must have been some skills, there must have been some alignment between your CV and the job description. So if your CV is not well positioned, if it's not speaking what it's supposed to speak, if it's not speaking about that role you are applying for, you might not be able to get this point at all. So the main reason is for you to get at least that telephone conversation. From there, you move on to the next stage, which might be one-on-one. In most cases, this is one of the most common interview style, and incorporates you with the potential employer. So this is the part where you come into the office, or you are sitting down with the hiring manager. They're looking at you eyeball to eyeball. They're assessing you. They want to be sure that, okay, this is the person. They're judging the CV with the person sitting in front of them. So this part is very, very important. Then the next stage is we're looking at panel or group. This is also part of the common interview type we have here, where you have two or more people interviewing you, asking you questions one after the other. This person might ask you assess you based on this part of your skills. Another person might assess you based on your education or general knowledge. Then we also have a meal. This meal part is mostly for senior level managerial roles, executive role, where they just invite you. They want to take you out of the corporate setting, mostly during lunch or dinner. And in this part of the interview, in most cases, it doesn't always come with the normal structure we believe that, oh, tell me about yourself, or how about your education. Most time, it might just be a conversation. It might be, oh, did you watch this football player or this club that played? Or if it's a technology company, did you see this company launch this product? They're just trying to start the conversation, not in that formal setting. Then the next site is on-site interview. On-site interview is talking about the employer inviting you to the site. Assuming you are maybe you studied electrical engineer, and they want to interview you, they might take you to the plant. Maybe your electrical line might be in maybe building electrical engineer, or in manufacturing. If it's manufacturing, they will take you to the plant and to show you, maybe, did you know this in this machine? Have you seen this? Just to be sure that you have that environmental knowledge, or you have that hands-on experience on those tools. It can be in any form of factory or any form of workstation. So these are the 4 stages, 4 types of interview we have here. Then moving on, we're also looking at type of interview questions. So here we have a standard or traditional. Like when I mean standard is like the normal, the regular one we see in most cases. Let me put it that way. This targets your education, your work experience, and your career goal. So these parts are most questions we'll be looking at here is tell me about yourself. Tell me about yourself is a dicey questions that most of us always get wrong. From my experience, this is not something you basically go online to lift. You might go online to have a sample experience or to see samples or to hear from other professionals, but you have to make this about yourself. You're talking about yourself. And at this point, you tend not to flog it much. You don't have to or start saying maybe like if you're fresh graduates, I believe all of us here are graduates or maybe entry-level position we are looking at. You have to talk about yourself, not start saying, oh, okay, my mother or my father or my primary school education. No, you have to talk about yourself in terms of your education, your skill, because the time here might be limited so that you don't waste all your time talking about things that you're not selling yourself out. You're talking about personal things when you should be talking about your skill, your education, your experience, if you have any. If you don't have any experience, things you have done when you are in school, some other minor experience you have gotten. So these are the parts where you talk about them. You are selling yourself to the company. You're selling, remember that you're there for an interview, a professional, a formal interview. So you're not selling your personal life here. You're selling your skill, your professional life here. Then the next part is that you'd like to be asked, what is your greatest strength and weakness? Yes, in answering this question, I would like to advise my candidate to focus on your strength in your field. Your strength in your field. If you're a technical guy, your strength should be maybe the skills you have, the skills that make you stand out. Not like, oh, okay, I'm able to, most time you see in CV, if you ask someone what's your strength, it's like, oh, I'm a fast learner. Yes, you're a fast learner, but you're a fast learner in what field? You're fast learner in what, or ability to adapt to what. So you need to be specific when you're mentioning your skills. If I say I'm a fast learner, I might be a fast learner in playing in video game, but I'm a fast learner that the fact that I can be able to or learn tools or be able to listen to my line manager or I'm able to cope mentally when be a new task presented to. I'm able to learn one or fastly. I'm able to learn fast in incorporating whatever is being to me. I'm able to implement that as soon as possible. Then we talk about weaknesses. Don't all of us have weaknesses. You can't say, oh, I don't do this because I've been in this field for a long time. I don't have this. No. But the key thing here is that when you're talking about your weakness, you have to talk about the solution to it. Let's for instance, I would say, oh, weakness is that when I have so much to do, I don't know how to prioritize it. Then I'm following it up that with, and that I've been working on it by itemizing my priority or having a calendar now to assist me in fixing that weakness. So I'm telling them my weakness and also making them to understand that though I have this weakness, but there's a way I'm managing it. There's a way I'm providing solution for myself already on that weakness. That is the goal. Then the next point you might likely be asked is, why did you choose to interview with us? Definitely interview with us because you want to work with them. That is the main reason why you want to interview with us. But you need to let them know, apart from the fact that yes, they know you want to work with them, you need to let them, this is where you're talking about your research on the company. Who have been able to read about this company on this part. I've been able to looking at the job description. It matches the skills I acquired during my 3MTT training. It matches the things I have learned on my own. So this to make the interviewer to know that, okay, you actually know what this company is all about, or looking at what this company is doing, and then being part of the top 3 or being part of the most sought after company in this field. I believe that this align with my goal, something like that. You have to make sure that you cannot go for an interview for, let's assume, a digital marketer role, and you're talking about you leave the skills you acquired, and you're talking about you want to work with them because you feel like oh, they are good, or the company is good, or you just saw it online, you want to work with them, you feel like, oh, they have a nice structure, this kind of, no. You have to talk about why you want to work with them, aligning it with your personal goal, with your skills. Then the next part you're talking about is that what did you like most about your last job? If you have any prior experience, you leverage more on the things you have done in your last job. If you have any, but if you don't have any experience, and you have been asked what did you like most about your last, then you don't have any experience. But if you have done your NYC, that is experience. Assuming you're doing your NYC, you worked as a teacher in a primary school, but now you are pursuing this, you can leverage on your experience in that field to say that, okay, looking at the fact that I've done this and that, and these skills I've acquired, I believe that I'm ready now to harness those skills to a higher level. And that is why that is one thing I like about my skill and the opportunity for me to grow. So you just talk about something like that. What are your short and long-term career goals? So you have to state it. Your long-term career goal might be, it might not have to be, oh, I want to build a company in the next 10 years or something. It might start with, oh, my short-term career goal is for me to be able to harness my skills, acquire more certification. A long-term goal, maybe I want to go back to school for my master's. I want to try new career paths, or I want to get an advanced certification that will help me with my career. So those are the examples of what we have to talk about. But talking about these things, you have to make sure that it's aligned with that position you are there for. With whatever maybe you come in there as for electrical engineer or internship role, or entry level utility officer role, you have to make sure that every goal you are saying will align with that. I've had an instance that a candidate went with an applicant and is talking about the career goal. She said that her career goal is to own, you want to maybe in the next 2 years own her own shop. That is not a bad thing. But you are interviewing as an accountant, the company will be like, are you sure you're not going to mismanage our money and all this kind of thing, So you have to make sure that every career goal you are stating align with what you are there for. There's nothing bad about wanting to own your business or do your own personal things, but the company you are there for an interview, you are there because you applied for this particular role. Stick to what you are applied for. Talk about that and make sure that you let them know that, especially explicitly talking about the skills you have relating to that position. So the next thing we'll be looking at is a behavioral interview. These are the most unspoken part of interview that most of us, you will not even know what is happening. You will sit down there, most times it's not spoken. They'll be assessing you. Maybe you might just think you're answering questions, but you're being interviewed behaviorally. So this part focuses on your behavior, or in previous settings, or your past behavior, based on for them to use it to judge your likely behavior in the company if you're eventually hired. So the sample questions you might likely be asked is, describe a time you had a difficult time or a difficult decision to make in your previous place of work, or tell me about a timeline a time you work under a deadline. What do you do when a team member is not pulling the weight? Think about a time you made a mistake. What did you time not being in that capacity? As maybe you're an entry level person, you haven't worked on anybody, or you haven't worked, you don't have anybody working on you. That's part of it. Or you have to talk about you can talk about maybe your experience when you're in school, during your school project. These things can talk about. You understand, or any form of assignment you have done, or maybe when you are trying to acquire skills, what you've gone through, what happened during that period. So these are some points you can also use here. And I want to draw attention to this method of answering question using STAR model. The first is S stands for situation, then T for task, A for action, R for results. So here, the format here is for you to be able to answer question using this format, so that you don't go out of point, or you don't go away from what is being asked, So in this question, assuming I want to use an instance where the interviewer asks you, okay, tell me a time you have had difficult situation your team member? How do you handle it? For this thing, you have to set the scene. Set the scene is talking about what actually happened. I can say, okay, one time in school, we have a school project. The lecturer gave us an assignment in group, that is the setting, you're setting the scene to develop ABC. You understand? Then the next thing you're talking about, then the task is to develop ABC that can be able to do so and so. That is the task. Then what is your action? So working with my team member, I was able to build this. I was able to do some research, gather such information. I was able to pull resources from this means and that means. You are talking about what you actually do to achieve that result. Remember, you have already set the scene. You have talked about that task. You have to describe what exactly you actually want to achieve or the task that has been assigned to you. From that, you move to action. The action, you're talking about what you've done, what you did, to be able to achieve, or what you have done in the past to be able to achieve whatever result you are driving at. Then you talk about the results. So using these 4 points now, you have answered, you can be able to answer any question that's been given to you. You having it in your mind that, okay, for this is what question, this is what happened, this is the task that was given to us, this is how I was able to do it, and this is my result. So I will also appreciate if we can also have this at the back of our mind that this format, you don't have to be selling it, okay, I want to use that method. If you want, that's not a problem, but you don't have to say to the recruiter that, oh, I want to use this STAR method to answer your question. You can just go outrightly to think of any situation that you have or any scenario you have in the past, be it maybe your first job or maybe in school or during your program 3MTT. You can use that to answer the questions. Then the next part we'll be talking about is a type of questions that in the interview that you have to ask the interviewer. Yes, because we've said that interview is a two-way thing, is communication between two people. It wouldn't be right that the interviewer, after asking you a question, and you don't have anything to say. Even though from walking into the company, you may notice some things during the interview process. When the interview is ongoing, there might be some things you noted that, okay, I will come back to this, or especially when that question has not been answered. So you can ask sample questions like, oh, what type of assignments can I expect within the first year? So for the company to be to put up that advert, for them to invite you for that interview, there must have been something. There would have been a gap they notice they want to fill. So you can ask them what type of assignments can I expect within the first year? What do you like most about this company? You can ask them about how will you describe the company culture? You can also ask them what is the biggest challenge facing this department right now? It might be that the company is expanding, that is why they put up the adverts. It might be that there are some gaps, there's some technical skills they need that they believe that you might have it. That is why they are interviewing you. So these are, they just want to have it, maybe that when somebody resigned, they want to expand the team or they want to replace for succession purposes or something like that. So you have to ask this question. It might not be outrightly like this. You might just ask them, is there any challenge facing the company now? So they will definitely answer you. What skills are you looking for in this position? So you need to ask to know maybe if it's a skill that you are not that strong with, you can say, okay, then you go back and harness that skill so that by the next time or by the next time you'll be meeting the team, you have all that information. What is the next course of action? So it might be something they want a test. If you do not ask, the interviewer might forget to tell you, oh, there will be a test next week. But when you ask what is the next, they say, oh, we're going to give you a test, or you have to do this, or you have to fill this form next, maybe, or there will be a next interview stage that will be calling you on. So if there's another stage that you prepare your mind that, okay, these people will likely be calling me so period or within 2 weeks for the next stage. So these are a few questions. And if from the question, during the conversation between you and the interviewer, you might pick 1 or 2 things that you also want to ask. It doesn't have to be this, but these are just sample questions that you can ask the interviewer. Okay, the next we're talking about now is the body language. Body language, I always talk about this whenever I always pay attention me as a person whenever I have any interview on body language, because most time we might be doing something we don't even know we are doing it. So body language, we're going to talk about the positive signals and negative signals. The positive signal we're talking about is leaning forward. it kind of give interest. When you lean forward, somebody's talking to you, you lean forward to, okay, listen. It shows you are paying attention to what the person is saying. You're smiling. Someone is talking, the interviewer is asking you a question, or maybe both of you are having a discussion, or you're saying something, your facial expression will show that this person actually, okay, is serious, he knows what he's talking about. Nodding, that's kind of giving them affirmation or attentiveness, showing that you are alert with what you're talking about, or you're actually paying attention to what they're saying. So there's some things they're saying, they expect you to react to it. Maybe they expect you to react to it. They expect you to affirm to that. Okay, yes, I understand what you're saying, or yes, keep going, or go ahead, or yes, that kind of stuff. So you need to pay attention to your body language. Then eye contact. There's some situations that you'll be, especially the higher you go up the career ladder, that the interviewer has to stare in your eyes to be sure that you are actually following what they're not just listening. Because most of the time you might just be there listening and they'll be looking, but if you're not making that eye contact, it will look as if that you shy, or you're not even, you don't believe in what you're saying. You understand? When you're talking to somebody, you look at that person eye to eye. The person will know that I need, like, given I know what I'm saying. I'm not just saying, but I'm sure of what I'm saying, and I'm listening to what you're saying. So for the negative signals, you're talking about cross arms. So sometimes if you come for an interview and you just cross your arm, you look quiet, if you look at the person, be like, are you sure you actually prepare for the interview? At some point, interviewer will even ask you, are you sure you're fine? Are you okay? Based on how you do it. It's a normal question to, I hope you're okay. But when the interviewer keep asking you that question, are you okay? Are you sure you're fine? You need to adjust your body. You need to adjust yourself. You need to make sure that you are sitting at the right position. You are looking in the right way. Then fidgeting hands or tapping feet, that is showing you are nervous or you're bored. Lack of eye contact shows you're trustworthy or you don't know. Leaning back means you sometimes you see, when we get an interview session, you see the person sluggishly moving left and right, like, oh, maybe I'm tired, or what these people are saying, I'm not getting it, or you're feeling defeated already. So you have to make sure that you sit upright, you maintain eye contact, you lean forward, and you smile. These are the key things that body language we need to look out for when we are on an interview panel, or when we are being interviewed. You have to consciously remind yourself that this is an interview panel, an interview session or panel. So you need to that get easily. This is where you have to have it subconsciously that I'm in an interview. So when you feel that, oh, you're doing, or you're not being in the right professional sitting or position, you need to readjust yourself immediately. So here what we're talking about, also pay attention. The reason why I put this pay attention is that we as a human, there's some words, there's some things we say, there's some filler words we use that we don't even know, and which will be interrupting our formal conversation. We use that daily in our life with our friends and family, like say, sometimes I've been in an interview panel where I interviewed a senior IT manager, and the person keeps saying, even a long time, man, even a long time, man. He doesn't even know he's doing that. He's subconsciously doing that. And maybe that is how he converts with colleagues and friends. But he forgot this is an interview. And by the time at the end of the interviewer, the clients called me and asked me that, why is that person keep saying men, men? So we need to pay attention to these things. It's bound to happen in some cases, but we have to make sure that is on a limit, that we intentionally caution ourselves. Also avoid insensitive this phrase like I think, I guess, probably, or pretty good, everything you just keep saying pretty good. Think before you speak. Think before you speak. There's no mandate that you must give a lengthy answer to every question. There's no mandate to that. And there is no compulsory that for every question that you are being asked, that you give an explanatory answer. You need to make sure that you know what you are saying. If you don't get it, please ask. I don't really, can you please rephrase this? Or you can even ask, oh, are you talking about this? Do you mean this? So that you will understand what you are going to, you will understand what is being asked, and to be able to give the right answer. Because if you do not understand, you keep saying things, at the end of the day, you are saying things, but it's not making meaning to what is being asked. think before you speak. Avoid long verbose answers. Limit your answer. If you're asked, okay, can you talk about 3 skills that you have that you believe is going to be important, is going to be crucial for this role? Go straight to the point and answer. I have this skill. I have communication skill because I took this course or this course, or I also have a negotiation skill. I have team management skill. If you have that, if it's in the line of what is being asked. So you need to itemize those things, avoid long answer, avoid long verbose answer. If you did not hear or understand, ask them to repeat or ask for clarity. This is very important. If you do not, sometimes you might not know because you didn't get the question, you start saying something else. The person might be like, are you sure this person? Most time the interviewer might just allow you to speak your mind because they don't want to interrupt you. By the time you talk and get to the end point, you'll be like, oh, that's not what I actually asked. You'll be like, oh, I didn't really get it very well. Or this is question you could have requested for them to rephrase or ask them to repeat before answering the question. So the final thing we're also want to be looking at is please be calm, relaxed, and be yourself. Is an interaction between two people. Once you have it in the back at the back of your mind that I'm here for that, they're going to judge me, or oh, people this interview, I've attended several interviews, they've never called me. That mindset will mess you up. It will not allow you to be calm. It will not allow you to relax. And also try to focus on the message you are trying to convey, not how well you are doing. Is the interviewer that is assessing you how well you're doing. You don't have to at that point start judging yourself, that you're not doing this right and not get it. Once you start doubting yourself that, well, are you sure this is going to like me? What I said now, did I just say it right? You won't be able to answer the next question. So please maintain calmness, relax yourself, and know that is an interview, is a conversation, interaction between two people, and you're not there to ascertain whether you're doing well. At that point, you might think about that when you get home outside, but at that point, you are not there to ascertain if you're doing well or not. So for our post-interview follow-up, please review your performance when you get home. You can then, this is at the point you can now be thinking, do I do well? Because in most cases, you will know if how you perform during this interview. By the time you stand up and leave the premises, you can be able to ascertain, I did not answer this question very well. Then you can go back and prepare again in case you have next interview. And also make some notes mentally, even if you don't have a notes pad. There's some things, there's some key little critical things you think you need to go and check up on. That there's even some words that during the interview you'll be able to know some things or some trending things about the industry, about the role you apply for. During the interview, you get to know that. They might mention some things you don't even know about, like, oh, I don't have idea about on this. When you get home, you have to read up on that, ask for feedback either via phone or email. In this age and time that most time is a recruiter that will be reaching out to you, please drop an email 48 hours after the interview that, oh, thank you for this opportunity, just something brief. Thank you for the opportunity to meet you. I hope I'm able to answer your questions, and I'm ready to showcase all my talent. If it's something that requires talent, I'm able to show you how I've been able to manage. So if you're going for social media page, just talk about something you know that you're likely going to be giving to them, especially when you ask them that what are the skills that are needed for this role, that you can't wait, you're looking forward to working with them, something brief as that. Also, don't get discouraged. Treat each interview as a chance to develop skills. This is one thing I always tell candidates, especially those that maybe perform very well, maybe along the line they are not picked, maybe based on one other two reasons, that do not get discouraged. This is an opportunity for you to go back and harness your skill, develop your skill, take more courses if there is a need for that, review what you have done before, then look at your preparing techniques. It might be that, oh, I didn't actually prepare very well, or you felt that, oh, because I came late, I wasn't I wasn't at the right frame of mind. So we have to always treat every interview as a chance to develop our skill. Do not be discouraged, even though maybe after you send your post interview follow-up and the company informed you that, oh, they won't be going ahead with you, or do not be discouraged. Let that be some sort of motivation that, okay, at this point now, maybe after this interview I've done that, they said they did not select me, the next one I'm going, I've already learned one or two things, I'm going to perform exceedingly well. And the more you prepare yourself, the more you attend interview, the more you understand the techniques, the more you understand the scopes. I think little things you might overlook at the beginning for the interview that did not select. I've been on an interview that I already know that I'm not going to, because I attended that interview sick. So I always tell people, preparation is not just about you dressing up, it's about reading the company profile. You need to be sure that you're in the right frame of mind, you're in the right frame of mind, you are healthy, you're not when you are sick that you're coughing, during the interview, you're coughing, you're feeling down. The probability of you getting that role at the end of that interview is slim because you're already distracted. So suggestion here, conduct a test run the day before. You might stand in the road to answer some free questions. The more you repeat it, the more you feel like, actually, I need to do some research. You can be able to answer that question that I don't think I'm ready for this interview. There's some candidates that you send interview by, they'll call you, oh, I'm sorry, can you please give me more time? Can we reschedule that? I'm not actually ready. Please do not attend interview when you know that you're not ready. It's going to end up being a waste of time for you. It might end up demoralizing you. Practice and practice by practice. Practice makes perfect. This is a common phrase everybody know. Practice. The more you practice, the more you become perfect. The more you know how the integrity of answering questions. The more you master how to smile. The more you understand the body language. You know that, oh, the way I was sitting on that last interview is not actually very professional. So this time around, maybe what I'm wearing or what I wore to this interview, I'm actually not comfortable with it. So the more you attend interview, the more you attend interview, the more you get to understand how to do it better. And this can only be done by practicing. Refer to the list of practice interview questions relating to your job online and answer the questions. Now we are in digital age. You can go on Google and type anything that, oh, interview question for so you will see some sample questions. You can use that to prepare. Review the job description provided by the company. I cannot emphasize on this enough because most times you see a candidate come for an interview, you ask, but please, did you go through the job description? Person said no, because they probably applied for several places without tracking where they applied. Most time you might even see a candidate that did not even read up on the job title, don't even know the job title of the role. Please, we have to always review the job description. Review the job description because most of the questions will be coined from the job description. Stand in front of the mirror and rehearse. You can even get to a friend and ask. You can even go to a professional, maybe a mentor who, I've also had someone reach out to me via LinkedIn. Oh, I have an interview for recruitment intern. Can you please walk me through of what I expect? Maybe you're going in for an interview, maybe in a manufacturing firm as a maybe electrical engineer or utility officer, or you're going in for a graduate trainee that you know, okay, this is for procurement that are moving me to. You can move on, reach out to someone that is working as a procurement manager or procurement officer and with 2 or 3 years experience or more. Ask, what do you think that I'll be expecting for this role? Next, get a good night's sleep and be well rested and alert for the interview. If you are tired, the company might not get the opportunity to know that you're not feeling too well. Will not be able to get the opportunity to know that you are tired. They will be judging you based on that. They will be assessing you based on everything you are putting up on that interview time or during that period. Relax and remain calm. And also, if there is anything that you don't understand about a role you apply for, maybe you saw a sales role for instance, you didn't really know much about it, but you know that sales is buying and selling. After reading the job description, you feel that, oh, there's some things that I still don't, maybe you're seeing some things like B2B, B2C, you don't understand them. You can walk up to it. You can go to Google and ask, okay, what are these terms? Maybe you're going in for a manufacturing firm, maybe as an engineer, mechanical engineer, you are seeing things in the job description that you don't get, you understand. You can ask questions to people or from people who are already in that field. At this point, I believe that for you to choose a career path now, you must have been reading up on that. You must have been studying, or it might be that maybe you studied electrical engineering, you want to go into procurement. So by now, you should be able to be reading up things on procurement. That, okay, this is the path I think I'm ready to go in. Finally, I also want to talk about your general mindset towards interview. If you believe that before going for the interview that you can't get this that this job, I might sure I'm going to get it, or people always talk about all this interview. If you have that mindset, probability of you getting the question right is kind of slim because you're already having the negative energy or negative mindset towards yourself. I'm also, generally, I will also ask us at this point for that role you are applying for all those positions you have been sending out your CV, please keep track of them. Keep track of them, not that in the sense, not in the situation where the recruiter will reach out to you, don't even know the role you applied for, you are acting confused, like at which role, or during the interview, you just come up there, they're asking, okay, which position are you here? You be like, oh, I don't, I think is that is not professional behavior. So I hope at this point, I will be congratulating every one of us for completing this session. Thank you very, very much. I don't know if all the questions that have been coming, maybe Joy, are you on the call? If you can hear me, we can start. I don't know all the questions that have been dropped on the comment sections for us to dive into it, please.
Hi, Imelda. Thank you so much for that session. It was really, really power packed as expected. And I'm just going to go through the chat section to see if we do have some questions. Okay, I can see one dropping in here. It says, in a situation whereby you went to an interview and they asked a question that you didn't know, what language can you use to communicate?
Okay, I don't know if can you hear me, Joy, please?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you very much for that question. The truth is that there's no way we can know everything. It is not possible. Even me at this level, there's some things that because every day new trends is coming up in different industry, different sector, based be it technology and all that. You might not know everything. But when you are being asked a question you don't know about, and you are sure that you don't know about it, you can just tell them, oh, I haven't actually heard about this. But maybe I will have to go and read about this. Can you please tell me what that means? You understand? Number one is that you actually made them know that, oh, I actually don't have idea of this at this point. Maybe I will check it up and I'll go and do some research on that. As the person is telling you about what they actually expect you to say, oh, you give them that attention. Okay, that you are learning is to be like, oh, okay, this is fine. Maybe I will do more research on it. Then you thank the person. Thank you very much for this. I actually learned this new. You know, there's nothing wrong with knowing something. They're not knowing something. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's even better for you to say, oh, I don't actually have idea of this, or maybe I haven't really heard of this, or I have, maybe let me just take my time to do my research on this, than you saying what is totally wrong confidently. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Imelda. You did justice to that question. And to everyone listening, whether you're with us here on Zoom or you're joining in from YouTube, feel free to drop your question in the chat section. Also, if you've gained value from this, do well to also leave a nice appreciative words for our speaker, Imelda. I have a question here by Chibueze Benjamin. He's asking, do I have to edit my CV to suit the job position I'm applying for? For example, I have a certificate in barbering skill, but I'm applying for a job as a waiter in a hotel. So does he need to suit his CV to fit the job description or position that he's applying for?
That question I can answer it in two ways. When you talk about the skill you have, in that manner is a skill you have. But the position you are applying for is something is a line you want to go into. You understand? Assuming you have a skill for A and you're looking at moving into B, there's nothing wrong with it. There's no barrier in moving from this I can be a tailor today. I might decide tomorrow I want to also go into something else. So what the advantage I have here is that I'll be talking about that, my passion in going towards into this, while making references on how well I'm able to do what I was previously doing. So you can, when your CV, I should be able to see that you have a skill on this, but you're moving going into this, and you put maybe when you're talking about your summary, you should be able to talk about your enthusiasm towards waitress. You understand? You want to go into hospitality. So it should be stating there, and if there's other skills you have, because if you want to go into something, you need to do what I call like some kind of skill analysis. At least starting from the little, for hospitality, you might need to just take maybe there's all these online courses you can take on customer relation or something like that. But please do not throw away your past experience because you want to create a new CV. Do not do that. But let your profile be speaking what you are looking out for, while you also state other skills you have. I might be in HR talent acquisition department now. I might also have interest in training. I might also have interest in sales. So that does not mean that I will throw away that I don't need to state that I have interest in or I have skills in sales. I started my career in the training department before I move fully into talent acquisition. But in my CV, you will still see that training part of me there. So when you are creating your CV, you have to find a way to combine what you have been doing to what you are looking for. But let it speak more to the new career path you're going to. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Melda. I also have a question here from Salome. Salome is asking, is it safe for me to ask the interviewer why the role is vacant?
Yes, it's very, very to me. I always advise people to ask. Though most time the answer you might get might not be what you're expecting, but I asking that you looking at the person will tell you, okay, what's how the body language be like, nothing happened. No, you just you already look okay. If the person is not answering you confidently, you'll be like, is there anything? The person might say, oh, there's nothing happened. Just looking at the expanding. You understand? Or nothing happened. We just moved the person in this position to a higher level. You understand? So there's nothing wrong with asking that. Please ask why is this vacant open. It's also part of the questions you can ask the interviewer.
Okay, thank you so much. I also have a question here from Princess. Princess is asking, what's the best response to give when someone tells you, I feel you're not going to stay long with us?
That question, the most time, definitely people ask you that question. They might be asking you that question because of your past experience. Looking at your CV, if the hiring manager notices that in each company you have 3 years experience, and that 3 years experience span over 5 companies, you understand, they will ask you that they will have that feeling. Everybody, definitely they will have that. If I'm the person, I will have that feeling. But you yourself, you have to, even though you intend to leave the company in the next 2 months, which probably assume is not the case at this point now. So you have to tell the person, oh, I believe that you're asking me this based on my past experience where I worked 6 months. I spent 6 months with them. I actually resigned from that company because maybe it might be the culture that made you resign. It might be the distance from where you are staying. It might be the location. So you have to state that, oh, you might be asking me this based on my past, because definitely most recruiters ask, or most hiring managers ask you that question based on your past experience, based on what they're looking at in your CV. And if that is not the case, you mention to them, at this point in my career, I'm looking for stability and growth. And that moving from one job to other will not give me that opportunity to stand my roots and establish the kind of skills I'm looking at acquiring, and also to showcase the skills I have. So I'm looking, you can just answer it that I'm looking for opportunity to grow and to expand my knowledge. I'm moving from one job or leaving as soon as possible or as soon possible will not offer me what I'm looking for. I'm actually here to contribute to this company in a long run, not just for a short period. So that would do for that, please.
Thank you so much, Melda. I think we still have a few more before we wrap up for today. So Silva is asking, is it good to reapply the same job? So to reapply for the same job in the same company or organization again after an unsuccessful one when there is another job opening in the company?
Yes, you can reapply, but the thing is that now that we have ATS, your CV would have been in their database. Assuming like an accountant now, or the first time you apply, you came for the interview, you're not a chartered accountant. Now you have gone, get a certification or get more certification or any degree, you have every right to apply. You have any right to reapply. When they look at your CV, they will see a different thing there that will make them to call you. Or you're a mechanic, before you apply, at the first instance you went for the interview, you don't have the kind of skills they need. Maybe during the interview, you notice some lacks from your end, and you have gone back and do your assignment. So you can definitely reapply.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. I'm just going to look through if we still have any other question. Okay, so Salome is also asking, please, how do I explain work gap?
Yes. Especially these days that most company once they see what gap, they'll be like, what have you been doing? But definitely before they for there to be a work gap, there must been a reason. Here people use, I was on a maternity leave, that is why I have this gap, or I went on a career break to pursue a degree, to pursue the certification, which I need to put my 100%. This is why there is a gap on my CV. You understand? In the case that there is an maybe you've been out of job for a long time, you are expected when you are out of job to be doing something else, especially when it comes to career development in terms of acquiring new skill. If you are out of job for 3 months, you are not expected, especially when you know that you are coming back in the professional field, coming back to the job market. You are not expected to just sit down because I'm out of job. No, there should be something doing ongoing. So when you are being asked that question, oh, there's a career gap, you have to list those things. Oh, during this period, I went to learn mechanic. That I also after that, I was able to learn this and that. You understand? So these are the things I've been doing this period. Not like you are just sitting idle and not doing it. So the problem is you not stating what you have been doing that period. But once you can be able to say, oh, I was able to do ABC, I went on maternity leave, or I took a career gap to further my education, that is the answer for you, please.
Thank you so much for that, Melda. And she also put up a follow-up comment here that says, if I said I was on maternity leave, would you reduce my chances? Well, I don't think so. Judging from what Imelda have also shared right now, it is a great excuse, right? So it's not even an excuse; it is allowed,
And
right? So
that's the natural thing to happen, and it's a good thing for us.
yeah. So I must say this has been a very insightful session, and I can see that a lot of our audience are already dropping their notes of thanks. Don't stop, keep it coming. Imelda has really dished out loads of insights, loads of information about this topic. I'm sure that we're fully grounded right now to go on and ace the next interview. We're going to be
Yeah,
at the top of our game, yes, while we're presenting. So thank you again once more, Imelda. It has been really great having you on here. And at this point, we're going to call it a day. We're going to draw the curtains here. So until next time, where we'll be having the workshop about this session, I would see you in the next one. Thank you so much, everyone, for being
very
here. And
hard.
thank you,
Thank you.
Imelda.
Have a wonderful evening, ma'am.
And you too.